Guys, I hate to say it, but this is gonna be a negative video. I try to keep it positive as much as I can on this channel, but there's something that's been bothering me so much. Dude, what the did they do to Gotenks? Okay, so if you don't know, in the most recent patch, Gotenks basically got 4 of his moves changed. He got a change to his Ki Blast, a change to his 2H, a change to his Beam, and a change to his Galactic Donuts. Now, when the patch first dropped, I thought to myself, okay, these changes are basically pointless, but I was open to the idea that maybe a little down the line someone will find something, because you never know, like someone could be like, oh, I found this new corner optimal route with upwards beam. But now, after some time has passed, I am confident that these changes are absolutely terrible for the character. Now, you might be saying, Adam, you're complaining about a buff to your character. Like, you're not allowed to do that. You're like Trunks players complaining about their level 2 not doing enough damage. But the thing is, I no longer think these changes are just pointless. Now I think some of them are actively harmful to the character. I want to go over each change one by one now that I've had some time with them. I'll do this in order of what I think are the best new changes to the worst new changes. Starting off with the Ki Blast change. This one allows Gotenks to cancel his Ki Blast into another Ki Blast. So you can do like bam bam, when normally you would have had to wait a little while to do another one. This is the only one that I think is actually useful. It just allows you a little more variability of when you're coming down on someone with Ki Blasts. Normally when you were doing this, you would do like Ki Blast into air normal, or you would do like Ki Blast, backdash, Ki Blast, or you would do like Ki Blast into punches, and that would catch someone trying to super dash you. Or you could do something like Ki Blast into EX Beyblade, and that could be used to beat 2Hs and also beat super dash if you were close enough. And you know, just to do like a cross up on them. But now this just adds like another little layer of variability. And it's nice. It's like, it's not exactly, but it's a little like a normal character who can do multiple Ki Blasts in the air. Because Gotenks can't do that as of now. And what's actually really useful about this is the Ki Blast can actually combo into each other, which makes this super easy for hit confirming off of your Ki Blasts. Especially because after they combo into each other, they can combo into an air normal. So that one's cool. The Ki Blast change is cool. It's not something like super crazy, but you know, Gotenks didn't need anything super crazy. Now we have the change to Galactic Donuts. So with this move, previously, you could either do it in place where your opponent was, or you could hold up and make it go a little bit higher. That on its own was like pretty useless. Now they made it so that you can also make it go in front of your opponent and behind them. And you can do it diagonally. This is probably the most pointless, bland change they could have done. Specifically because you don't use this in neutral. You have such better options, like just doing your beam. You can only do this on the ground. It's 30 frames of startup, so it's not very fast. It's not like you can combo it out of like your Ki Blast or anything. I've been trying to find like any use for this. I've been experimenting with trying to catch Zamasu while he's like flying in the air, but I've got nothing so far. And if you're like, oh, does this open up new combo routes with Gotenks now that you can control it? No, because when you're doing this in a combo, the move just fucking homes in on your opponent. Like, it tracks them. So you wouldn't need to do this anyway. But again, that change is just pointless. But it is not actively harmful for the character. But what is actively harmful is this next change, 2H. Now, if you're familiar with Gotenks, you might be like, this 2H looks a little weird. That's because it is not his normal 2H anymore. His normal 2H has now been delegated to 3H. This is the one that you guys are probably used to seeing where he lunges forward a little bit. Now, why do I say this is harmful for the character? Isn't it nice that you now have another option of where to aim with 2H? Like you can aim a little bit more behind you. Well, here's the thing. This new 2H now has less range than his normal 2H. So, in situations where you would be trying to scout out like a jump in or like a super dash, but you're holding down back, you're always gonna get the new 2H with less range. Like if you were blocking and you tried to 2H something, you would likely be holding down back while you were doing it. This has caused situations where you will no longer 2H things that you would normally just by holding down back and waiting for something. And if you say, just do it right, it makes it harder. Like, maybe you disagree with me, and that's fine. But any change that makes something harder also just makes it worse, because it makes it more inconsistent for you to do. And if you are like, oh, but hypothetically, a perfect person now has more than one option for a 2/8, so it's better. I understand your perspective, but that is just not realistic towards how people use moves. Like, people make mistakes. So if you introduce a new way to mess up without providing a very big upside, it's gonna be worse for the character. Like, it's gonna lead to more situations where something bad happens as a result of the change than something good. But maybe you're like, no, you're ugly. But interestingly enough, the last change to Gotenks actually has the exact same problem, and that's to his beam. Now, with his beam, they changed it so that if you are holding up when you do the move, Gotenks will move up a little bit. This would be his normal beam, and if you hold up, you go a little higher. Now, this one's interesting because it's actually my favorite change. Not for the beam, but just because now Gotenks can fucking fly in the air like forever, which is tight. I love that. Not because it's useful, just because it's like fun. The problem is Gotenks uses this move a lot in his combos. He has combos where he will do an empty shout in order to get a shout cancel rejump, and he has combos where he'll do the beam in order to get his beam loops in the corner. The thing is, do you know how fucking easy it is to hold 9 after a fucking 2-3-6 input on accident? It is so easy. Like, I don't care who you are, this will be a problem for you. I guess unless you play on a fucking box. God damn it. Okay, but for normal people, this will be a problem for you. It's just too easy. It's too easy to accidentally hold 9 after you do your beam or your empty shout. Like, honestly, the amount of times that this will mess up one of your combos. And this is like a big part of Gotenks' combo structure, is his shout cancels and his beam loops. So what's the problem? Is it just that Gotenks is a little worse now because he got these changes and now his combos are a little less consistent? No, honestly, if Gotenks just got nerfed, I wouldn't really be making this video because I wouldn't have a reason to complain. The thing is, the new problems that Gotenks has were an accident. Like, I'm sure when they looked at Gotenks' 2H and they were like, okay, we're gonna give Gotenks a new variation on his 2H, it was to help a problem where Gotenks' 2H was already really inconsistent. Instead of just making the 2H a better move, they made it not your 2H. And your normal 2H now covers even less distance than it did before. And I doubt the beam change was like, oh, we're gonna lock Gotenks' new shout cancel and beam loop combos behind an even higher skill barrier. I'm sure it was just like, oh, let's make him go up. And if you try to tell me, no dude, these were intentional nerfs to the character, you die. Like, that's not how they nerf characters. They don't give you new options. They're not gonna be like, oh, Vegito, you know, he has his split finger shot thing. That's really oppressive. Let's make it so that the normal split finger shot goes lower than the first one, but you can still do the old one. It's just like you hold back or something. That'll make the move harder to do consistently, like no. But okay, at the end of the day, does this really change much about Gotenks? No, he's pretty much the same character as he was before the patch. And you know, I'm complaining about all these things, but I think my character's awesome. Just a little thing to complain about, but you know. But anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. If you like the video, maybe consider subscribing and becoming a part of our hive mind. Okay, bye. I'm gonna go ghost Oki an old person.